of State Minister Ministers, and senior officials from government and institutions of Uganda. I've seen the PS of Foreign Affairs, honorable members of Parliament present here, ambassadors, high commissioners, members of the diplomatic community and representatives of international organizations, members of the Forum of South African Businesses in Uganda, academicians that are here, members of the media present, community leaders, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, suffice to say, protocol observed. On behalf of the South African government, the staff of the High Commission in Uganda, I want to thank you for joining us this evening to our 25th Freedom Day celebration. On this special day, I bring to you the fraternal greetings from the government and the people of South Africa. First things first, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who have been attending the functions of the South African the celebrations of the South African Freedom Day, you will realize that this year we are doing it different. Our function, the small one, and this has been deliberately made. Because this year, it's a special day, and South Africa's Freedom Day will be celebrated by casting our vote tomorrow. You know, the real birthday of South Africa is the 27th of April, which is tomorrow. And remember in 1994 when our country was born, and those long queues, our leaders felt it fit that those that are in the diaspora should celebrate it in a special way, and therefore, for obvious reason, we'll celebrate it tomorrow by casting our votes. You know, those of you who know a few South Africans, you know, these are party animals. They're people who like good time. And therefore the danger of having a party, and in most of the times it goes up to the early hours in the morning, the risk is that people might not turn up and vote because they might be having some hangover of some sort. So we felt to be safe, let us not be accomplices in this regard. We want them sober when they exercise their inalienable right to vote, which of course most of them have been denied that right for many years. It is indeed 25 years since our new country, South Africa, was born. This is a country that was born out of the struggles of its people, the struggles against oppression. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many gallant fighters who fought relentlessly against colonial rule. They resisted the Dutch. My friend Hank is here, he knows the history. They resisted the French. They resisted the Germans. They resisted the British rule. And later, or ultimately, resisted a special type of colonialism where the colonizer and the colonized shared the same boundary that was during the apartheid regime. And those of you who doubt this type of colonialism, they can come for some history lessons. Ladies and gentlemen, our struggle against these forms of oppression wouldn't have been possible without the solidarity of you, the international community. It is in this regard that we did our revolutionary banners to thank all of you who contributed to our liberation. Yes, indeed. The story of the South African liberation is incomplete without mentioning this country, Uganda. To you Ugandans, you were there for us in the most difficult times of need. As we celebrate the victory of the human spirit endured through the resilience of the people, you'll agree with me that it is befitting to pay tribute to those who paid the maximum price and say to ourselves that we shall remember them because they paid the ultimate price. They sacrificed for our freedom. Some of them, not all of them, are South Africans. Many of them were those who were internationalists who joined us in the struggle against oppression. And therefore, yes, indeed, we shall remember them. Some of those comrades are buried in this beautiful country. Of course, we have many buried all over, even from Russia, Cuba, Zambia, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, all over. As you might know, all our country was born, South Africa itself was born out of negotiations. And this was a negotiated settlement among the warring parties. But I would share with you that the path that South Africa chose to take, that path of building reconciliation, led by the stalwarts and our own Nelson Mandela, we chose a path, an unprecedented path of reconciliation. Hence the formation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It was a necessary step for us to be able to create what is known as a rainbow nation, albeit our differences. Our transition from apartheid to democracy was hailed by some as a miracle. In the process, we crafted a new constitution which was said by many to be among the best in the world. However, as we endeavored on this journey, as we embarked on this journey, in the process, we made lots of mistakes. We made lots of mistakes, and that is why in those mistakes today, those of you who watch TVs or social media or radio, you are familiar with the term the state capture. But this is also another path that we have chosen to traverse. Most of you might say, hey, these folks are hanging their dirty linens in public. No, it is a deliberate choice. You know, when we have got a wound, sometimes you have to press that pus out. It is a painful process. But until you press that pus out, the wound will not heal, the pain will endure. And therefore, this is the path that we have chosen to take, to say, yes, indeed, it is not going to be an easy one. But we are very confident under the stewardship of our President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, that we shall overcome. We are very confident that we shall overcome. I guess you'll agree with me that really we cannot keep quiet when corruption is so endemic. And our people suffer without services, the necessary or the requisite services being delivered. But I urge you to keep us in your prayers as we consolidate this young democracy for us. Ours is indeed a young democracy. We are actually teenagers, because it is only 25 years since South Africa attained freedom. And we acknowledge that there are many lessons that we can draw from your practical experiences. Now, I want to draw closer to this day and its significance, because to us it's a historical landmark. That on that day, the 27th of April in 1994, the majority of South Africa could truly belong, that sense of belonging. And they became part of South Africa because many were excluded in the country of their birth. Their dignity was restored, and the country embarked on this new journey of transforming into a non-racial, a non-sexist, and a democratic and a united country. As I stand in front of you, I'm actually very excited about this day. South Africa is proud to have a valuable partner in a country such as Uganda. The bonds between our countries and our people are enduring and are based on common values and aspirations. Uganda stood firm on its conviction that South Africa must be free, even when the future was somehow bleak, right in front of all. Let us use this time to recall the hardships and the sufferings which the generations of our people endured, their struggles, their dying commitment to build a South Africa that belongs to all who live in it. The people of Uganda, you were there with us, and therefore we share this bond, and we are very grateful for that. South Africa has used its achievement not only to benefit its citizens, but to touch the lives of multitudes of this beautiful continent and the world at large. Being guided by the legacy of one Nelson Mandela, Madiba, to contribute to peace, justice, and reconciliation. I want to thank Uganda for standing with us in solidarity with the people of Western Sahara. His Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, recently attended the conference on Western Sahara, which was hosted by South Africa. Because if an injury to one is an injury to all. So if Western Sahara is not free, we cannot rest on our laurels, but we have to support. Our chief guest, South Africa appreciates the support of Uganda and all member states for being elected as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. We will use this opportunity to push for the implementation of the AU agenda to silence the guns by 2020. Many might think that is a pipe dream. It is doable. Where there is a will, there's a way. We will also use that opportunity to address the plight of women and children in conflict areas. Because we know that once we empower women, we will be empowering a nation. Our president is passionate, President Ramaphosa is passionate about empowering young people, especially young women. The importance of peace and stability as a catalyst for infrastructure development, which is the focus of many of our continent of the AU. That importance cannot be overemphasized. During our time at the UN, we will work to achieve all this with SADC and the continent, because we believe in the principle of oneness and Ubuntu, the principle that says I am because we are. And I've just been told that our ambassador at the United Nations has actually sent a message this afternoon that there will be an envoy arriving in Uganda on the 3rd of May, which will focus on the issues of the DRC. So they will be coming to Uganda because this is all but an endeavor to achieve to silence the guns by 2020. In South Africa, we strive to achieve a better continent and an equitable world, where all citizens are free to achieve their full potential, and this is what drives us. Our bilateral relations between our two sister countries are strong. However, Honorable Minister, I must say, and this must be said loud and clear, I am saying and going to repeat, that much as our relationships, our bilateral relations are strong, our visa regime remains a challenge, where many Ugandans experience problems in acquiring South African visas. Truth be told, many ordinary Ugandan passport holders are not happy. It's true. I engage with you, Minister. We engage and we talk about this thing that is always, I ended up as if I'm a visa officer. You know, your office is inundated with requests of people that come to you to say we want a South African visa. And I don't think that's the spirit that as sister countries we should. I therefore ask you, Honorable Minister, that in one way or the other we need to expedite a visa-free regime as envisaged by our leaders in the free movement of goods and people. Let us expedite that. But Honorable Minister, you are quite aware that there has been a progress that was made where an agreement, a visa-free exemption for holders of both the diplomatic and official passport. If they travel to South Africa for 90 days and less, they don't need a visa. The only remaining one, and I know the proposal for that matter, is with ordinary visa, where it says if you travel to South Africa for less than 30 days and you are carrying an ordinary passport, you will not need a visa. And it is in the pipeline, but it lies somewhere in the offices, but of course we have agencies that must work together, including the intelligence agencies, because you know, it becomes a gap for some who have other intentions. And therefore, let's expedite the progress. I really wish that the sooner this is implemented, the better it will be for all of us, and our blood pressures will be low. I must say thanks to Uganda because it has supported South Africa on many fronts. One practical example was when Uganda had to withdraw its candidature for the International Communications Union, supporting the candidate of South Africa. That's brother. You supported us in the AU positions and in the UN, and indeed we are grateful. We know that in you we have a reliable partner. It is Makerere University that bestowed an honorary doctorate degrees of laws to our mother and heroine of our struggle against oppression and apartheid, Mama Nomzamo Winnie Mandela. A few months before she passed on. It was in 2017 that His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni launched an annual Nelson Mandela lecture. And the next one is scheduled to take place in June this year. This lecture takes place at Makerere University. I must say, today, a joint trade commission between the Department of Trade and Industry of South Africa and the Uganda's Ministry of Finance, Training and Economic Development has been concluded. And another trade mission from South Africa would actually, they've arrived. My brother is here. They have arrived. They are here. That's another one, trade mission. They are here from South Africa. This week only, we have two delegations of officials from the Department of Trade and Industry in South Africa who are officially here in Uganda to iron out trade challenges that our countries experience. Honorable Minister, the Forum of South African Businesses in Uganda, which was launched in 2015 by the Right Honorable Prime Minister Rukunda, continues to find ways of improving the business climate for its members in Uganda and also for Ugandans doing business in Uganda. We hope for progress in this regard so that business can flourish without hindrance. For some members contribute immensely towards revenue, economic development, and creating employment opportunities for Ugandans. This past year, Bosabu raised money and contributed an amount of about 60 million Ugandan shillings to the Kampala School for the physically handicapped. These were first proceeds emanating from the World Day, which members organized. On the 15th of June this year, we will have another World Day. And of course, we think some of the profits will go towards helping the blood bank. As the South African High Commission, we annually commemorate the International Mandela Day. We do so with school children with an aim of sharing the values of Tata Mandela to transform these young lives of learners, albeit in a small way. Our honorable chief guest, South Africa is, I must say, South Africa is open and ready to do business with Uganda. We as South Africans, we pride ourselves as one of the countries with an enabling environment to do business. There are many Ugandans that are doing business in South Africa. I know many of them. And I'm sure in December you see some of them when they visit here. I don't mean the Sangomas, but I mean the genuine business people. Let me share with you, as I'm about to conclude, that back home we are on a new path. We are focused on growth, employment and transformation. The message of renewal is reverberating throughout the country. There is hope for our country's future. Please join us as we move South Africa forward. As I conclude, I would like to recognize and thank our sponsors who have made this event a success. ESCOM, Self-Air, Choice Placement, Nelson Mandela University, ShopRite, Century Bottling, Lancet Laboratories, and Nile Breweries. Let us not, give them a round of applause. Last but not least, let me thank the staff of the High Commission for putting this event together. I know that tomorrow by 6 a.m., all of you will be opening the voting station. 6 a.m., all of you are expected to be opening the voting stations for South African citizens that will be voting. I want to thank BFS who have joined hands with us. And I would also like to thank the Sheraton Hotel and everyone who has participated to make this a special and memorable day. I must confess that this event, I totally did not participate. I was never part of the planning. I will not claim anything. I, like all of you, I just walked in here, and there is a simple reason. I did not want to participate in the planning and the execution of this year's celebration. I must confess, Honorable Minister, that this is my last National Day. And therefore, I did not want to participate, but wanted to allow my colleagues to participate on their own. And I want to be a guest, and I want to be treated as a guest. But I wish you all the best. I want to thank all those that supported me during my journey and my tour of duty. And for those that I might have brushed them the wrong side, my apologies to you. My apology was not intentional, it was in the course of duty. Let me wish you all the blessings, God blessings. And now I humbly request our guest of honor, Honorable Minister Odiem, to join me on stage as I propose a toast. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the beautiful people of the Republic of Uganda.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Lekau Soli Ono, High Commissioner of the Republic of South Africa, colleague ministers, members of Parliament, Your Excellency Ambassadors, High Commissioners, Head of International Relations, distinguished guests in different capacities, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency and dear brother, I'm honored this evening to be here with the government of Uganda on this important day, not only for South Africa, but for Africa. But I'm also particularly struck by the fact that this is your last function, your last celebration day. When you announced this year, everybody chose to be quiet, but I just couldn't hesitate. But I said, we'll miss you, my dear brother. But thank you very much for being what you normally refer between me and you as the brother from a different mother. The story of South Africa never be told without the struggle, the reservation of the people of South Africa. The struggle for our brothers and sisters who for many years suffered under the regime of apartheid and being discriminated and not being allowed to exercise the freedom that what some of us enjoyed from the early 60s. The issue of South Africa, some of us read it in history books, but some of us saw the reality of the history of South Africa by being practically there at the time when the frontline states were struggling for the freedom of the people of South Africa. I happened to live in Tanzania as a young person, as a teenager, and I remember vividly once a month on a Friday, putting on my red scarf and the rest of the class going in front of the American Embassy, British Embassy, and condemning the British and the Americans for supporting the apartheid regime in South Africa. Every last Friday of the month for 9 years I did this. I had my red scarf. I was telling the Chinese ambassador that day that they gave us the red scarf and they gave us the red book. And every Friday we were there. Dedicated. Amanda! Freedom to our people. Power to the black person. And so on and so forth. We participated in the struggle. I am so happy when I woke up one day in London, asked myself this very thing that happened. Where were you at the turn of the millennium? Where were you on that day when Princess Diana was involved in an accident in the tunnel in Paris? Where were you on that day when the Twin Tower in New York was brought down? To me, where were you that day when Nelson Mandela walked out of the prison hand in hand with Winnie Mandela? Where were you? I was watching this thing in front of my television, and I could not believe that this man whom for many years we had about, we had all photos of him, little photos of him, young when he was young, and stories of him spending his days confinement in prison, an island, spending his days breaking stones and rocks under the supervision of the apartheid regime. And at every turning point, making a personal sacrifice that he will not leave that prison until South Africa got independence. I never imagined that in my lifetime it would happen. I never imagined. In fact, I must admit, Mr. Ambassador, that I committed a crime. Because in Tanzania, apart from us young ones every Friday, the last Friday of the month, having to be in front of those embassies, reminding them that South Africa had been liberated. There reached a time when we were told that we should not even, we were told that we should stop supporting these capitalist companies that are supporting the apartheid regime. And one of them happened to be Coca-Cola. We were told that we should stop drinking Coca-Cola. Well, you know, one of those days were when we were young. Coca-Cola is the drink that every young person, every teenager wanted to be associated with. These were the 70s, the days of disco and bell bottoms and high heels and Coca-Cola and all those good things. I must admit, Mr. Ambassador, that once or twice I broke the rules. I have to be forgiven for breaking those rules. But nevertheless, I am glad that many years later, South Africa today is a free country, a democratic country, a rainbow nation, a country of hope to many countries for which we are proud to be associated with, and we are proud that they are our brothers and sisters in the struggle for the unification of Africa and the continuous fight that the African continent has to continue fighting against neocolonialism that still exists today. So Uganda is happy to be part of the great celebration. The bond between South Africa and Uganda did not come out of the blue. It was forged over several decades. As Uganda supported the ANC in its fight against racial segregation in South Africa. Uganda was indeed honored to have played host Nelson Mandela in his first visit to an African country following his release from prison in July 1990. We are honored. We honor the brave men and women who sacrifice their lives and livelihoods for the greater goods of saving a nation and restoring its dignity. We pay tribute to Nelson Mandela, the father of the nation, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Walter Sisulu, Oliver Tambo, Robert Sibukwe, Dennis Goldberg, Ellen Zussman, our own young brother Steve Biko, Albert Buturi, our own Sanko and hero, Joe Sanko, amongst many others, for their sacrifice that made it possible for South Africa to enjoy the benefits of democracy today. As we step in the future, I remember the words of Mzee Mandela, if not, but just as a guiding principle. Continue being each other's keeper. Matiba said, I quote, For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. End of quote. Recently, we enjoy an excellent collaboration with South Africa. This is evidenced by the high level of visits, the level of head of states, ministers, senior government officials, and members of the private sector. His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta has made a number of state visits to South Africa. The most recent was March 2019, the 10th SADC Solidarity Conference on Western Sahara. The Excellency President also attended the BRICS Summit in July 2018. He also paid an official visit to South Africa in November 2016. The Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa visited Uganda in 2018. I am also proud that during my tenure as the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, I have been privileged to be friends and participated in hosting every single head of state of South Africa at the time of Nelson Mandela. Uganda and South Africa have worked together in pursuit of a common and shared vision for Africa. Our leaders have tirelessly worked together to advance the South African integration agenda aimed at ensuring a united, strong, integrated, and prosperous Africa. This vision has been well articulated in Agenda 2063 on the structural transformation and the industrialization of Africa in building of Africa report. Together, we are actively involved in various processes in the pursuit of peace, security, stability, and development in Great Lakes region. An example is the Burundi peace process. In furthering strengthening our bilateral relations, we have agreed on various cooperation frameworks, including within the framework of the Joint Commission of Cooperation areas such as foreign affairs, defense, security, agriculture, works, and transport. We are pleased with the level of implementation of various decisions that have been made and look forward to the convening of the second session of the Joint Permanent Commission and Cooperation, which will take place in November 2019. Yes, about 2 years ago, we made a paradigm shift in our foreign policy engagement with a view of ensuring that we advance bread and butter issues of ordinary Ugandans. The objective has been, and indeed I believe, is the same for our compatriots in South Africa, to promote trade, investment, and tourism between our two countries, with a view of eradicating poverty, increasing household incomes, and creating decent jobs for our youth, and thereby promoting shared prosperity for all. South Africa is one of the leading trading partners of Uganda. In the year ending 2018, the volume of trade between Uganda and South Africa was estimated at approximately $256 million US. We believe that there is a lot more we can do together to diversify the range of export products and addressing the non-trade facilitating measures, including joint cooperation on issues of standards, and particularly the raising visa requirements for our ordinary wananchi. This issue of visa, as my brother was very honest and frank about it here, has really been a thorn in my butt and his butt. Sincerely, I have to be honest. I was hesitant to raise this matter here, but I'm so happy that he raised it. No sooner as I sat down here, I got 2 notes by individuals who wrote to me that Mr. Minister raised the matter of visas, please. And I said, there's no way I'll not raise it. I'll talk to my brother privately. But I'm glad he's out of it. But sincerely, this is something that he and I spent a lot of unnecessary time on. It is strange that the whole High Commission has to spend most of his time dealing with the issue of visas, Ugandans, South Africa. And the whole Minister of State for Foreign Affairs spending hours reading his brother, sending messages, while we could do maybe something more useful for the progress of our two countries. But just did visas. I'm glad that it's now open, so everybody knows that both the High Commission and myself are doing everything possible to address this matter. We just request you to be patient. Be patient, we'll soon be there. And people will be able to travel both ways without need for visas, except those individuals who are not wanted in the country. South Africa is also one of the biggest sources of foreign direct investment in Uganda. I'm pleased to see companies like MTN, Eskom, ShopRite, and many others who are sponsors here contribute to the social economic transformation of Uganda. It is essential that our two governments encourage the private sector to flourish and continue to business in both countries. We therefore look forward to convening the joint business forum that is due to take place in November on the sidelines of the Joint Commission of Cooperation. The Joint Business Forum is a platform that brings together members of the private sector to share experiences, identify opportunities, agree on a range of measures that will further facilitate trade and investment. I salute all the members of the private sector that have embraced this occasion for investing in Uganda. These are our ambassadors to the outside world on why Uganda is still the best investment destination. I also am aware of some Ugandans who have invested in Uganda and are doing extremely well. There's a young man who was working at Gold Coast Hotel, the junior manager, but is now moved to South Africa and is now the proprietor of several guest houses in South Africa, from zero to a multi-millionaire in South Africa. And I'm very happy that you're giving him a research comment to allow him this business. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. I'd like to commend you and your leadership at the High Commission, Mr. Ambassador, for the important contribution you have made and continue to make to consolidate friendship between our two countries. Mr. Ambassador, we will miss you. Definitely we will continue being friends along the way. You will definitely be an ambassador wherever you are after being around for about 4 years. With confidence that we will continue promoting the relationship between Uganda and South Africa. I, more than anybody else, will miss you because we have been a very strong and relationship between us and move out forward our relationship between the two countries. I urge all of you who are here to give a double clap for our High Commissioner who is now leaving us. That's LC1. To work with the High Commissioner, proper clap for the High Commissioner for LC1. Let's give a proper. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. As I conclude, allow me to propose a toast to the good health of His Excellency Cecil Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, the government and the people of the Republic of South Africa, peace and prosperity as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of South Africa's freedom, and to the continued friendship and solidarity between Uganda and the Republic of South Africa. Amanda! Aluta continua! God bless Uganda, God bless South Africa. 3, 2, 1.